Hello everyone, I'll be presenting our work on re-identifying mobile devices using real-time bidding advertising networks. This is work done by myself, Jinsong, and my colleague Johnny Huang, and professors Mark Corner and Brian Levine at UMass Amherst. So all our work is focused on the impression. This is the ad that's shown at the bottom of the phone on many free apps. And as you see, there's nothing there now, but in a second, something will load, and then you see an ad. And so in that process of loading the ad, a lot happens behind the scenes. First, there's an ad request that gets sent to the advertising network, and I'll go into detail in the full talk on how this advertising network actually works. And so this advertising network acts on behalf of the advertiser, and bids get sent back. There's a winning bid, and then the ad and information flows back and forth between the advertiser and the device directly. And among many other things, one thing that gets shared is web storage and information on web storage that's called by JavaScript. And we're going to be using this feature in trying to track users, an alternative method of tracking users other than ad IDs, which are what's being used now. So to be clear, our threat model is that users don't want to be tracked. And so as you see on the right, there's an option to turn off ad tracking. This is disabling the advertising identifier. On the other hand, advertisers want to track users. And an advertiser can be a company or it just can be a person with $100 and signs up and pretends to be a company. So our method of tracking without ad IDs are to advertise to the user, mark the device by storing a unique identifier on the device using this web storage feature, and then retarget the devices using available filters such as IP, GPS, and so on, and then retrieve these marks to verify that once you retarget the device, it's actually the person you're trying to track. In our experience, we deployed over 250,000 ads to over 25,000 devices. A little bit detail in how marking works. Basically, it's just a JavaScript call where it tries to retrieve an ID from the storage. If there's no ID, then it'll randomly generate one and then send one to the advertiser and send it to the storage as well. So after a while, when you retarget the device and you try to get the ID, you can get it back and you know you've got the person you want. The first thing we looked at is how long these marks are actually stored. On Android, the indexedDB function, which is a JavaScript storage function, lasts for several months. The x-axis here is about 3 months. And on iOS, there's local storage, which also lasts for about 3 months on many of the devices. These are both JavaScript calls, as I said, and these are useful for this kind of marking. So now we want to figure out how possible retargeting is. So first we looked at IP, and of course non-cellular IPs last a while. These are the home Wi-Fi connections, for example, and they don't really refresh that often. We also looked at GPS, if that's available. So if an app, if you've given permission to an app to share your GPS location, it can also pass that information to an advertiser directly. And with precise GPS measurement, it can target you pretty easily, lowering the costs of trying to find you. So all in all, on average, it costs about $5 a day in our experiments to track most devices. That's $5 per day per device. This is a lot more than it would cost to track using ad ID, but it's not unaffordable. And I'll be going over these results in a little more detail in the full talk. I'll also be looking at case studies where we actually found ad IDs without using, or found devices without using ad IDs at all, and found in general cases about 38% for less than $90, and for users seeking privacy by using a VPN, we recalled about 10% for $20. So if you want privacy, you want to turn off ad tracking, you want to turn off location sharing, but also you want to reset your web storage, which is hard to do at the moment. So we want OS developers to implement a feature for users to reset web storage easily. Right now, what you have to do is reset either your your app data, or you want to uninstall and then reinstall the app if you want to clear that information and make it unavailable to advertisers. Thank you.